George, I don't know if you are aware of how enthusiastic I am about Monster Hunter.
I'm pretty aware. I've maybe not heard all of the intricacies of how much you love Monster Hunter, but
Yeah,
I know you love it. Like I know it's Destiny level for you.
I am practically fanatical about Monster Hunter.
Is it above Destiny? Is that how far we go?
Ooh, no, nothing is.
Oh
But
wow!
yeah, but I've been playing Monster Hunter for a long time, not since the beginning, but before World, when everybody in the whole
Before it was
world
cool.
jumped in.
Okay, yeah, you're one
I
of
like
those.
Monster Hunter before it was cool. And so I've been very hyped for Monster Hunter Wild, which is what we are looking at today. And I'm still hyped. I've put about 60 hours into it, pretty much by myself. And now that it is out, I finally get to play it with my friends, and I can't wait. I might even start over and play it again. I think it's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised. If you had a bingo card of games that were going to be good this year, like
yeah.
barring GTA, which might not be this year, Monster Hunter is probably the biggest, easiest pick for that, right?
Yes, definitely. A Game of the Year contender long before it even came out. From the moment it was announced. And a lot of things about it are great. And however, I do have some concerns what's interesting about a series that's been going so long, like Monster Hunter, is that I'm not just thinking about this game, I'm thinking about the future to it, and what this game means for the future. And I am a little bit concerned about the direction this game has taken and what it means for Monster Hunter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm assuming you mean the simplicity, right?
The simplicity, yeah. And I think simplicity is the right word. I think the discourse around this game is going to be that it's easy, that it's too easy. And I think that's reductive, right? Because some people are going to be like, oh, I want it to be easy. And some people are going to be like, oh, it's not too easy. And easy just isn't the problem. The problem is the simplicity. The problem is that it is becoming mindless. I think like what is one thing that's so great about Monster Hunter is how engaged you need to be. You need to understand not just when to dodge, but what these monsters do, what their physical characteristics are, right? Like, do they have armor-plated legs? Do they spit acid? What are their traits, and what are the things about them you have to respect? Do they attack with their tails? And then on top of that, you need to prepare for those fights. You need to wear the right armor and take the right supplements to buff yourself.
And grind, baby.
Grind. Yeah, and you have to eat food that's gonna match what fight you're going into. Like, you have to get the right skills. And in this game, you don't really have to do any of that. You really just don't have to do any of that. And it's a lot of little things that all add up. Like, for instance, if a monster has a status effect and you need a particular healing item to deal with that, and you don't have it, your cat will just give it to you.
What?
So you don't have to, so you don't have to bring it. Don't worry about like packing your inventory correctly, because your cat will just give it to you. If you run out of mega potions because you're being sloppy, and
your cat will give it to you.
Your secret, your mount, will just have a stock of stuff. So you don't have to leave the fight, go back to your tent. You're really just like never punished for not caring. And I think that's a really good part of Monster Hunter, is like, oh man, I forgot to do this, and now I have to do kind of an annoying thing, because then it incentivizes you to be prepared, like to be a better hunter.
Absolutely.
And this one doesn't ever do that. It never punishes you for just like queuing up a fight and jumping in. Like, it always saves you. There's always a safety net, and the thing is, like, the people that will like that will appreciate that it's so forgiving, aren't gonna play it that much.
Yeah, this is the interesting point, because I did read your review, excellent as ever.
Thank you.
And there, I feel like the person you're talking about is me. So I didn't like Monster Hunter before it was cool. I knew about it because I'm I'm knowledgeable still. But I played World, really liked it. Played Rise, probably about 40 hours on both. Not all together, 40 hours each. That is hitting the credits being done. That's me going, yep, I'm not coming back for DLC, I'm not coming back for updates. This game was great, I loved it. And that was that. So to me, that sounds cool. I'm like, yeah, like it's nice for it to be a little easier because the core combat of Monster Hunter is why I play it. Like it feels good. It feels rewarding to build up to this sort of stuff, and grinding out for the specific gear you want. That's all good, and I assume that's still the same. But damn, like to remove so much of it, like to make it so much easier for the hardcore fans like you, the people who really want Monster Hunter, that's a blow.
It's a weird thing because like you just told me that you bought a game and you played it for 40 hours and you rolled credits and then you were done. And that's that should be a normal way to play a video game. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like Monster Hunter's in this really weird place that's like halfway between live service and not, right?
Almost a forever game, right? Like it's
almost a forever game. Yeah. Because while they eventually stop updating these things, for years they do. They add more monsters, they add events, and then the DLC comes and it's like a full sequel built into the game. At least that's the way it was with Iceborne and Sunbreak. So it feels as though there's two things going on. One is that they expect people like me are going to stick around either way, so they built a game to appeal to, for lack of a better term, the lowest common denominator.
Johnny Gamer.
Johnny Gamer, because more people playing it, buying it, good, and then the rest of us will stick around and wait for the challenge. And then maybe that hardcore challenge is coming with the updates.
This is going to be my next question. Do you think that this is just the way to do it for launch, so it starts out fairly simple, but it's updated to be so much harder in the future that it reaches other games? Do you think that's their approach?
Yeah, I'm thinking that is probably the case because, like, for one thing, there are way fewer monsters in this than the other games. I'm pretty sure I've seen them all, and I count 29. And that includes like the variants of like the same monster with a different name, So, yeah, I counted 29, and I'm pretty sure World launched with 38, 37, 38.
Oh, jeez.
And then Rise launched with, like, 47 or something. So, like, it does feel like a lot is being held back, either for, like, those bi-weekly or monthly updates, or for next year's expected big expansion. And that's just... It's tough because, like, World was so robust, and then Iceborne was even bigger. So it's weird to feel like this is an incomplete game. But, like, I gave this game a 9 out of 10, and for the past 8 minutes, we've been talking about its flaws. It really is fantastic.
I feel like that is more indicative of how Monster Hunter is. Like, going in, I was like, well, this is probably a 10, I know Eric loves Monster Hunter, like, I'll be surprised if it's not. So the negative interests me more because, like, I bought this, I was going to buy it, I'll play it for the 40 hours, like most people in the world will, but I'm assuming that means everything else about Monster Hunter is great.
It is, and I think for the sake of this discussion, I want people to totally understand what they're getting into, like what to expect. Because you'll have a better time if you know what to expect going in. And you should expect a pretty forgiving Monster Hunter, where you're going to kind of breeze through it a little bit. But that doesn't mean it isn't great. And one thing that I really love about this one is how breakneck the campaign is. The stories usually feel... Well, first of all, the stories have nothing going on. Like, there's just nothing to it ever. And this one has substance. This one actually, like, gets into the lore in a way that's pretty interesting. But on top of that, the campaigns are usually padded with busy work.
Yeah, I remember well.
You'll be doing fights, and then suddenly it'll be like, now go look for tracks for a while.
Yeah, I hated it.
This one has none of that. it is nothing but fight after fight after fight through the whole story.
Okay, you're speaking my language.
There's even missions that have 2 fights. Like, you'll finish one and suddenly another monster shows up, and now you got to fight that one too. So it is nothing but fights and long cutscenes. It's like the busy work has been replaced by long cutscenes. Because there's a lot.
I don't know how I feel about that.
There's a lot. They really just keep going, and it's it's not The Last of Us. It's not the most compelling story of all time. It still really just boils down to these monsters are acting up, and let's go kill them.
Today I learned Monster Hunter has lore, so that's a discovery, I guess.
But this one it does sort of connect to bigger ideas in Monster Hunter, and it has some cool reveals about the world of Monster Hunter that did work for me as a fan. I'm not sure everyone else is going to be all that engaged. To be honest, it was hard to break out of picking up my phone when a cutscene starts because I've been playing Monster Hunter for so long. I've been trained to not pay attention to any of it.
Yeah.
But this one's worth paying attention to. It's also largely all new monsters. You get Rathalos, which is great. Of course, you get Rathian. So, like, you can't have a Monster Hunter game without Rathalos. But there's maybe 2 or 3 that aren't new. Don't quote me on that. I know that there's some of the monsters in it haven't been around for a long time. So,
but then to bring them back in like the new graphics and the whole new game is almost like bringing them back entirely.
Exactly.
Like, they're almost new.
They do feel new, but then a lot of them are brand new, which I do appreciate. Though you want to see your favorites. Those will come in the updates as well, I suspect.
That's kind of where I'm at, where a lot of this must be tough to review because a lot of the complaints are almost less about the content of the game. It's more like stuff that is coming. It's just a waiting game. Yeah,
I think so. Or at least I hope so. It's not. Again, it's not that I'm not satisfied with this. It's just it's hard to let go of your expectations for Monster Hunter when you've been playing it for so long, and that's really just one perspective. Like you definitely have to keep in mind all the different kinds of people that are going to play this. And the moment to moment is just so good. Like the hitboxes are tighter, the animations are flashier. It's the best looking Monster Hunter game, which means it's also the best feeling Monster Hunter game. Like it really does feel tight, and all the things that people were complaining about in those betas that they were running.
Hit stop, baby.
Yeah, the hit stop, like some of the missing combos, some of the animation issues, all fixed, all better, like perfect. Like they took all that feedback and in a matter of weeks gave the people what they wanted. So you got to appreciate that, and the big back of the box features, like the stuff that they've been selling this game on over the past couple months, are all totally legit. The size of the maps, the weather systems that change the maps, there's kind of like 3 phases for each map, and it really does transform the space. It's not just, it's raining now. Like the rain causes the flood, which changes what areas you can access, which brings in new monsters. Like everything changes with these weather systems, which is very cool. The interconnectedness of the maps.
Yeah, this isn't the open world Monster Hunter game everyone feared it would be, right?
No, the whole thing where there's like a seamless flow from one map to the next is like during the story when you're like it's time to travel to the next zone and you get on your mount and you travel is pretty cool. You do that one time because after that you're just fast traveling, right?
Yeah.
You're just opening the map, clicking where you want to go, and instantly arriving there, and you'll only ever do that. It's not as though like What would have been amazing is if you're on a hunt and the monster leaves that biome and you chase it into another one, but that does not happen.
No, they're like resigned to their specific.
They're
biome,
still
though.
yes, they're still in their space, and if they leave the map, they're gone, which is how Monster Hunter's always been.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds familiar actually.
Yeah. So like it's easy to forget that all these maps are connected because you're never ever walking between them. You're just fast traveling everywhere because you're trying to get to the next hunt. Like there's no reason to like get on your mount and walk across the world. Just like pick a hunt, fast travel to it and go fight the thing, So it kind of doesn't matter, that part of it. And it's kind of weird that they made such a big deal about that, or even put in the work to make that tech work, because nobody's gonna really experience it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were scared about that though, right? Like that was kind of a big worry that it would feel too open world.
Yeah, that it would change the flow of hunts or become more tedious. But the fact is that it's the same as it ever was. You pick a quest, you go kill a monster.
You can customize from your mount though, right? Like you can bring multiple loadouts.
Yes, you can bring multiple weapons.
Okay.
It's not full loadouts, which confuses me a lot.
Right.
Because your entire build has to change to match the weapon you're using. So it doesn't really make sense just to swap weapons. But this a little bit comes back to that whole forgivability of it.
Yeah.
Because it kind of doesn't matter that much what armor you have on. Like it does and it doesn't. It's not really going to matter until you're level 100.
Yeah. This is the thing. I'm so intrigued to find out, to see what I think of it as someone who, like I know Monster Hunter right now to play it. I'm not going to be a noob to it, but I'm interested to see if I find it difficult at all, or if it is just like the hardcore,
right,
end game, post game, like super ridiculous monsters getting to you and making you kind of forget like the beginnings of Monster Hunter,
Yeah. I mean, I finished the low rank. I got into high rank. I got introduced to tempered monsters, which are like the stronger version. And I was hunting tempered monsters, and I was still using a low rank weapon. A bone weapon. Like the simplest low rank weapon. Yeah. So like, and you know what? I'm good at Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna happen.
I've been playing a long time. The thing you have to remember is like the players are always getting better, but the monsters are the same. The first time you fight a Rathalos, it's really hard. It shoots fireballs that kill you in one hit. It flies around. The first Rathalos you fought was the hardest one. Monster Hunter always gets easier because you get better, and Rathalos doesn't change. He's just Rathalos. So
I wonder if they can even counter that at that point, though. Like Monster Hunter's been going on for so long. What can you do?
Well, they change. They make Guardian Rathalos, and then they make Azure Rathalos. Like you make harder versions of the monster. But yeah, it is. I'm not going to say easy, but
easier.
It is. Yeah. It is forgiven for sure. But yeah, that being said, the moment to moment is so overwhelmingly joyful for me. I just love swinging big old swords at monsters' heads so much. Like it works as well as it ever has, and it's so satisfying. And it's one of the best multiplayer games ever. Like you really got to hunt with your buds to get to get as much out of it as possible. And I'm so excited I get to do that now, because I really didn't get to experience that much during the review period. So
yeah, it's a completely different game. Like solo, I think that's how I played Worlds, and I did not like it as much. Then for Rise, I was like, nah, time to find some friends. And it was so much better.
Another little detail, this one has bots. You can bring a party of support hunters that are like vicious murderers that never die.
Great. Oh, sick. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgiving and simplistic. I like it.
You can just bring your bot party to do the killing for you, and they won't just hunt the monster while you stand there. Like, they'll disengage if you do. But yeah, that does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, it's so surprising to me. Capcom's been moving in a direction lately of, it's reviving a lot of its old series, bringing a lot of stuff back. I think it's trying to open itself up again, and that's great. But I feel like maybe the one cornerstone of difficulty it has, which is Monster Hunter, I'm iffy on that being changed so much. I think I'll love it. Like, I think as a more casual fan, I think it's going to be great for me. But yeah, as someone who, I almost wish it was harder for you. That sounded awful.
Well, I mean, World sold 20 million, and as like a phenomenon as that is, I think it would be a really bad luck if this one didn't sell as well. So I'm really not surprised to see them go for a broader audience here, if one even exists, because like that's a lot of people played World.
Highest selling game ever
for Capcom. Yeah. So we'll see if dumbing it down a bit does what they expect it to do, and we'll see if it can get harder with some updates. But yeah, that's it for Monster Hunter Wilds for now. Thanks for watching. I'm
sure we'll be back to talk about it again, though.
For sure. Yeah, this is the very beginning of the Monster Hunter Wilds story. Yeah.
Hear ye.
Cheers. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the review, which is linked down in the description. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and visit us at thegamer.com. That's TheGamer, no spaces.